It's a 2015 RAV4 with a 2.5 liter in it, I think. Anyway, it's leaking oil pretty good, and it's coming out right around the oil filter housing. I've looked above it. It's not coming above it and dripping out. It's actually coming out from around the housing. Originally, this housing was plastic. This is an aftermarket. I think it's a Dorman. Normally, you wouldn't change the housing. You just change the filter element. Here's the filter element. But I tried one of these aluminum ones because I thought maybe the plastic case was cracked. And it's been fine for like 4 months, and now it's just suddenly started leaking again. So I got another housing just to see what's going on. To change oil on one of these, you need I mean, you can use channel locks, but you're supposed to use some kind of a special tool there to get the filter housing out. So we take a look at this new one. That O-ring, I'm not sure if it doesn't look like it smashes into anything. It looks like it's just kind of stuck in there. Like the size of the diameter of the O-ring and the diameter of this groove that it sits in is what makes the sealing pressure. It doesn't look like tightening this actually compresses that O-ring. So anyway, I'm going to tear this apart and we'll take a look at what's going on. Okay, up underneath there you can take just this plug out, and that drains some of the oil so you don't have the whole amount of oil in the filter housing dripping on top of you. But I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. To me, it's kind of a waste of time. So I'm just going to drain the oil out. I'm going to screw this housing out with the Toyota style wrench here. It kind of grabs onto there like that. It's always best to do this when the oil is really hot so you can burn the crap out of yourself. I never try to walk away from a oil plug just finger tight. It's a good habit to get into. As soon as you put it in, to go ahead and torque it. That way you don't have it come apart tomorrow when you're going down the road because you forgot to tighten it. Yeah, that's what that little plug, if you took out, is supposed to avoid. But, you know, oil's still going to come out of it. Alright, let's take a look at this old O-ring. I can see where it's somewhat flattened out, but boy, I really don't see anything wrong with that O-ring. Unless it's just that flat. Because this wasn't a Toyota O-ring. I think this was a Wix O-ring. So, you know, if I replace all this and it doesn't work, I mean, that's one thing that might be the problem, that I need a genuine O-ring because maybe they undersized these slightly. So I really, by looking at this piece, I really can't tell you why it was leaking. unless this was a defective housing. But it really doesn't look like it was messed up. Take a look up inside there. Boy, it sure doesn't feel like it's been damaged. I don't see any damage. I really can't tell you why it was leaking unless it's just not a very good O-ring. So I'm going to change this housing. I'm going to put a new housing in just because I have one here. I'm not saying that's the problem for sure, but I am going to use the Wix O-ring that came out of the Wix filter kit. And I'm going to compare it. We'll take it off and I'm going to compare it to this Dorman O-ring and see if it's the same diameter. Just looking at these gaskets or these O-rings, I can't tell any difference. And I realize that measuring an O-ring with a pair of calipers is kind of subjective, but I mean they seem like they're miking out or they're measuring the same as far as I can tell. So I'm going to try the Wix O-ring, and of course it's always a good idea to put a little oil or something to lube up the O-ring before you put it together. Okay, I don't see it leaking. I guess if you were really in a jam, you could take Right Stuff gasket maker and put a little bit of bead right on that and try to use that as a sealing surface. But I mean, that'd be something you'd want to do if you couldn't do anything else. Yeah, I wouldn't jump to that as the first thing.